Greetings of the day and welcome you all in our course Green Energy Alternate Fuels. In this module, we are going to discuss about the biodiesel. So, biodiesel is the type of biofuel. Biodiesel is an ester-based oxygenated fuel which can be derived from natural renewable biological sources like vegetable oil. This biodiesel operates in compression ignition engines like petroleum diesel, thereby requiring no essential engine modification. Means this biodiesel can be the alternative or substitute fuel for our petrol or diesel engine. Unlike the fossil diesel, pure biodiesel is biodegradable. So that is the most important point related to the biodiesel. It is biodegradable, non-toxic and essentially free from sulfur and aromatics. This biodiesel was used as a biofuel in diesel engine. Okay. So first time there was use of peanut oil fuel in the diesel engine for the running the diesel vehicle. So this diesel engine was developed by the scientist Rudolf Diesel, and after him that diesel engine was known as Rudolf Diesel. So it was invented on 10th August 1893 and therefore this 10th August has been declared as International Biodiesel Day. So there are various types of biodiesel feedstocks. So in general or common feedstocks used for biodiesel are the vegetable oil. So vegetable oils on transesterification process will produce biodiesel. So in various countries, various vegetable feedstocks are used. For example, in the US, soybeans provide the most common feedstock. Then in Europe, there is use of rapeseed or that is known as canola as the vegetable feedstock for the generation of biodiesel. Then in France and Eastern Europe, use of sunflower as the feedstock. Then in Malaysia, there is use of palm oil, and the use of cooking oil is also becoming a common feedstock for the biodiesel production. Then emerging feedstock means now the recent trend in the preparation or synthesis of biodiesel, that is the plants that can thrive under adverse conditions such as Jatropha curcus can be used as the feedstock. Then hydroxylated fatty acid triglycerides. For example, the castor oil and Listerella oil can be used as the emerging feedstock. Then short chain fatty acid triglycerides. This obtained from the Coffea viscosesamea that also used as the feedstock. And one more, that is microalgae, which is the type of algae. It produces lipids and this can also be used for production of biodiesel. Now, these biodiesel feedstock are classified in three types. Means actual classification of biodiesels on the basis of feedstock. So that is first generation, second generation and third generation. So what it means? So first generation biodiesel feedstock, that is use of edible oils. So edible oil, that means the oils which are used for the cooking purpose or eating purpose, we can say. So sunflower, soybean, palm and rapeseed oil, all these are the edible oils which are used as the feedstock for generation of biodiesel, and it comes under first generation biodiesel feedstock. Then another is second generation. So second generation biodiesel feedstock, that means use of non-edible oils. So which are that non-edible oils? So the oils which comes from the trees, Jatropha curcus, mahua, then tobacco seeds, jojoba oil, restaurant grease, animal fats, and waste cooking oils. So which is not used for the eating purpose. So that are non-edible oils. So it comes under second generation biodiesel feedstock. Then next is third generation biodiesel feedstock. So what is it? These are derived from the algae. So there are particularly two types of species of the algae, microalgae and macroalgae. So out of these, the most important or prominently used algae are microalgae for the biodiesel generation. So these are one of the most promising alternative resources of lipid in biodiesel production. So these microalgae are having high photosynthetic efficiency to produce the biomass, and these have higher growth rates and productivity as compared to our conventional crops. So commercially, homogeneous catalysts are employed for trans-esterification of these oils. That means all this feedstock leads to the generation of biodiesel through the trans-esterification process. Let us see the biodiesel cycle. So in this we can see here the oil crop. Okay, so this is the oil crop which on photosynthesis will get grown. Now the seeds from this is the sunflower. So seeds from this sunflower are taken, then extraction, that means oil extraction process is carried out. We will get the crude vegetable oil that will be refined. Okay, so we will get the refined vegetable oil, and this undergoes trans-esterification. So what is that process? We are going to see in the next slide. So in presence of alcohol, this vegetable oil undergoes trans-esterification and will lead to form the biodiesel. Along with this biodiesel, there is a side product which is glycerol. So this side product is also having various applications. So that can be used in the food industry, then cosmetic industries, etc. And this biodiesel can be used in the vehicles. Now as it is used in the vehicles, okay, it produces the energy. So these vehicles run on this biodiesel. But when we are using this in vehicles, it may carry out the emission of CO2. But these plants, oil crops, that needs the CO2 for photosynthesis. Means this CO2 emitted by these vehicles will again get absorbed by this oil crop for the photosynthesis, and thus the biodiesel cycle get completed. So we can see here the trans-esterification, or that is the biodiesel production. So for example, our vegetable oil, what it contains? So that is the fatty acids. What biodiesel contains? Oil crop or vegetable oil contains, that is fatty acids. Okay. Then this G is for glycerin, A is for alcohol. Okay. Now when in this vegetable oil we are going to add the alcohol, then what happens? This alcohol unit, that means alkyl group from the alcohol, that will combine with this fatty acid, and we will get the formation of that glycerol as the side product. So in this reaction it will get clear. So you can see here, this is our vegetable oil. Okay, it contains this long chain fatty acids. So RCOOCH2, R prime, or it is R. It may be same or different alkyl group. Then here we are going to add the ethanol or methanol. So most commonly used is methanol, that is alcohol. Okay, and this trans-esterification is carried out in presence of basic medium. So what is the catalyst used? That is NaOH, or sometimes KOH can also be used, but most probably use of the NaOH as the catalyst. Now here this OH minus, that is the basic catalyst, this is your methanol. This undergoes reaction with this glycerol. So what will happen? This RCOO and this CH2. So there is a bond between this carbon and oxygen. So it will undergoes breaking. So as this bond will undergo breaking, what happen? This RCOO CH3. This is also undergoes breaking. OH will get separated. So RCOO will combine with this CH3. So we are getting these esters. So this first one is also the ester. So there is a transesterification. So we are getting here methyl esters. Okay, we are getting methyl ester. So this mixture of methyl esters is known as biodiesel. And along with that, formation of this byproduct, that is glycerol. Now see here flow chart for this production. So initially what we have taken, that is vegetable oil or animal fat as the feedstock. That will be under pre-treatment. We are going to mix the methanol and catalyst, and then transesterification will carry out. Okay, on transesterification, what happen? There will be two layers actually. One is of glycerol and another will be of oil. So glycerol, that is a water soluble, oil is water insoluble or immiscible. Okay, so by using the separating funnel, we are going to separate this biodiesel and this glycerol. So this oil on further processing we will use as the biodiesel. So that is the biodiesel production. So this biodiesel can be produced from the Jatropha. So that is our second generation biodiesel. Okay. So this Jatropha is used as the feedstock. Why? So it is a non-edible. It can be grown anywhere along the canals, road, railway tracks, on border of farms, and even in an alkaline soils. That's why we need not use any fertile soil or land for growing this Jatropha. Okay. Then this Jatropha can be grown in high as well as low rainfall. Means requirement of water is not, it doesn't matter. It can grow under high water conditions as well as under the scarcity of water. Then in high rainfall, yield is more as compared to the low rainfall. So it occurs mainly at lower altitude with average annual temperature and rainfall of 300 to 1000 millimeter. And average temperature, that is about 20 to 30 degree centigrade. So we can see here the biodiesel from this Jatropha. So the Jatropha quercus seedlings, these are the seeds that will grow into this small crop. Then it will give the matured plant. From this we are getting the fruits, and from these fruits after ripening we are getting this quercus seeds. Okay, and from these seeds we will get this Jatropha oil. And as seen in the previous slide, we have to follow all these steps, that is the transesterification. We can synthesize the biodiesel. So what is the economics of biodiesel from Jatropha? So here it is given items or expenditure for this biodiesel production. Okay, and for this synthesis of biodiesel from the Jatropha, the government also supported, as well as our former President of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam sir, is one of the strong advocates of Jatropha cultivation for the production of biodiesel. And second one, that is our State Bank of India, that provided a boost to the cultivation of Jatropha in India by signing a MOU with D1 Mohan, a joint venture of D1 Oils, to give loans to the tune of 1.3 billion rupees to local farmers in India. Means funds are provided for the production of biodiesel from the Jatropha. Then biodiesel can also produce from the castor. So castor oil, that is the food grade oil. Okay, it is used in food additives, flavorings and candies. But the esters are important ingredients in various cosmetics. So this increased lubricity at low levels may provide an effective lubricity enhancer for low sulfur diesel fuels, and that's why the castor fatty acid methyl ester products can act as a cold flow improver additives for biodiesel. Means instead of using directly it as a biodiesel, it can be mixed to improve the cold flow of that biodiesel. As low volume and high value markets. Now the advantages of biodiesel. So the most important advantage is biodiesel is eco-friendly and renewable fuel. It can be obtained from vegetable oils or animal fats. Then it can help to lubricate the engine itself. Means no any lubricant is required to add, decreasing engine wear. Then it can be used in almost any type of diesel with little or no engine modification. So we need not to modify the engine design. It is safer than our conventional diesel. So why it is safer? As it is having low toxicity in comparison with the diesel fuel and lower emissions of contaminants. Then this biodiesel can degrade more rapidly than diesel fuel, minimizing the environmental consequences of biofuel spills. Then it has higher flash point. It can help to reduce dependency on the foreign oils. So all these are the advantages of biodiesel, or we can consider these are the pros of biodiesel. Along with the advantages, it also has some disadvantages. So what are that? So there will be the emission slightly increases NOx in the atmosphere. Okay, means when we are running the vehicles using the biodiesel, then the gases emitted that may contain NOx. Then it has a higher freezing point than our diesel fuel. So because of that, it becomes inconvenient sometimes in cold climates. Then biodiesel behaves as a solvent. As it behaves like a solvent, it may carry out degradation of the plastic and natural rubber gaskets and hoses when used in pure form. So in which case replacement with Teflon components is recommended. So what happens? Generally these rubber gaskets and hoses, that means these are used to join two metallic parts. Okay. So as biodiesel is acting as a solvent, it may carry out dissolution of this rubber gasket or plastic. So that two metallic part may get separated. So for that we have to use Teflon instead of that rubber gaskets. Then it is less stable than the diesel fuel, and therefore long-term storage of biodiesel is not recommended. And higher fuel consumption due to the lower calorific value of biodiesel. So all of us know the calorific value. It is the amount of heat generated by burning unit mass or volume of the fuel. Okay. So this is having lower calorific value. It slightly decreases fuel economy. So because of low calorific value, it ultimately leads to the decrease in the fuel economy. It may dissolve the deposits of sediments and other contaminants from diesel fuel in storage tanks and fuel lines, so which then are flushed away by the biofuel into the engine, so where they can cause the problems in the valves and injection system. So if that sediment or contaminants get dissolved, okay, in this biodiesel, and that is used in the engine, so it may clog the valves or injection systems of that engine. The cost of biodiesel varies according to the feedstock used and market values. So the feedstock market value that affects on the cost of biodiesel. If price of feedstock get increased, then price of biodiesel will get increased. So the conclusion: biodiesel is eco-friendly. It is clean burning alternative fuel. Okay, this biodiesel contains no petroleum, but it can be blended with the conventional diesel fuel. Means we are not going to run our vehicle directly using only the biodiesel. What we are going to do? Biodiesel is mixed with our regular or conventional diesel. Biodiesel fuel can be used in any type of diesel engine without doing any modification. Then biodiesel is a degradable, it is non-toxic, free from sulfur and lead. This is an alternative energy source and could be a substitute for petroleum-based diesel fuel. So, to be a viable alternative, a biofuel should provide a net energy gain, have environmental benefits, be economically competitive, and be producible in large quantities without reducing food supplies. These are few references for this biodiesel production. Thank you.